To start off, I have to complain. I wanted to play the game on my computer, but I could not because of Ubisoft. There was a bug when I tried playing with a controller where the camera would break every time I started moving. And I'm not playing the game with a keyboard and mouse. Incidentally, I have not seen anyone else complaining about this, so maybe it's so rare that literally nobody else has had it happen. I don't care. The game was unplayable on PC for me. I ended up playing on my Series S and took so many videos that I actually broke the Series S record feature, so I only have video up to a certain point in the game. I know it's not the controller because I use the same controller on the console. Assassin's Creed Mirage is a nice break after playing several massive bloated RPG Assassin's Creed games with their level grind and ridiculous gear progression. Don't get me wrong, I thought Origins was exactly what the series needed to reboot itself. But 3 in a row, I never got that far into Odyssey or Valhalla because other games kept distracting me. The big question everyone wants to know is Mirage really a return to roots? Not so much. It's definitely a callback to the earlier games where you had your sword, your dagger, and your wits about you, and very little else. It's nice to not have to worry about gear score, levels, and other things. There's far more of an emphasis on stealth and surveying the landscape, not to mention planning your mode of infiltration. You can still kick the shit out of everyone, but it's riskier against bigger groups. Oh, and the game isn't 80 hours. That's a big plus. Mirage puts the player in the role of Basim, one of the side characters from Assassin's Creed Valhalla that I didn't meet because I never got that far. Or I forgot. I literally haven't played the game since the first Christmas event. You join the hidden ones because, of course you do. It's an Assassin's Creed game. The game takes place entirely within Baghdad as you hunt down the 5 members of the Order that are busy doing evil things in Baghdad. Planning world domination, poisoning political enemies, getting sand in the potato salad. Really sick shit. The only problem is, no one knows their identity. At least for now. It's your job to dox and incite a campaign of harassment against the members of the Order until they fall on your blade in a horrible accident. And then you do the thing with the feather. Baghdad being the sole city makes Mirage much smaller than previous titles. However, the city is chock full of stuff to do, and you don't quite look at the map in horror realizing the sheer number of collectibles you'll be asked to hunt down. There's a big investigation board that fills up as you progress, giving a good idea of how far along you are in the story, and making things feel like they're really wrapping up once you get to the final chapter. There are a bunch of little distractions here and there, like the obligatory synchronizing with the towers. You'll be looting chests to upgrade your 6 or so swords and daggers as well as your outfit that carries its own bonuses, catering to your style of play. Committing crimes in public causes your notoriety to increase, which just means you have to tear down posters or give bribes to bring your wanted level down. It's a neat little activity. It doesn't really take a lot of time, and it's kind of a callback to the earlier games. And wow, are the people of Baghdad dirty snitches and rats who will call you out to a guard at a moment's notice. Half the time they start going wild when I definitely did not kill someone in their line of sight. Why am I fighting for these rat bastards again? They'd sell me out for a piece of bread, the kind with olives in it. Combat is pretty simple once you start fighting. Enemies either attack with a bright glow or a red glow, meaning you can either parry them or not parry them. You won't be getting too invested in the combat, and it's incredibly simple. Eventually, you'll be able to jump over enemies with red attacks and attack them from behind, assuming the controls work. Occasionally, the combat buttons just don't respond. It's an Ubisoft game. Like I said, the combat is not the highlight of the game. Outside of your throwing knife that can be upgraded to dissolve enemies on death, which is one point where the game gets into disturbing body horror. Oh my god! But there are some problems. This is an Ubisoft game. It is a very Ubisoft game, meaning the tutorial will pester you at no end in some areas. For instance, if you get your hands on skill points, the game will never let you forget it by plastering the ugly-ass number in the corner of your interface, even if you can't buy the cheapest upgrade. And it will stay there until you spend it, reminding you that you have it to spend. Accuracy of your ranged weapons and jumping can still be a pain in the ass sometimes, as Basim either targets someone half a mile away in the other direction, or suddenly does a 90-degree jump in the direction you are clearly not facing to climb a wall he can't climb. Also, you can't turn off chromatic aberration and some other graphical turds, and who does that in 2023? My biggest gripe with Assassin's Creed Mirage is the gear chest puzzles, which boils down to frustrating experiences and finding obscure spots to hit points that the game may or may not acknowledge. It doesn't help when I'm pointing my throwing knife at the weak spot and the game is just like, nah, you missed. There's nothing to make me care less about these puzzles than shifting around a building for 10 minutes trying to find the single angle I have to position myself in to aim a throwing knife through a window to realize I don't have any left because I can only carry a few at a time. I hated anything to do with throwing knives being required for puzzles because they're such a pain in the ass to replenish. I warmed up to the house puzzles as the game progressed, but they still felt like a big waste of my time and a really stupid chore. But I did enjoy my time playing Mirage, at all things said and done. The lower playtime let me finish the game before I got tired of it, and the characters are interesting, and I won't be rude by unfairly comparing them to the peak of Assassins, Ezio. All in all, it took about 22 hours to finish, and I got most of the collectibles. I'd say I completed about 92% of the game. I'd suggest paying the $17 and getting access to the game by Ubisoft Plus for a month. I can't imagine wanting to come back and replay it, and by the time you would, it'll be dirt cheap anyway. Or wait until Black Friday in a month when it'll probably be $30. That's the way Ubisoft rolls. Like and subscribe for more videos. And let me know what you thought about Assassin's Creed Mirage in the comments below.